Hi, everybody. Welcome to another action-packed edition of our Podium Picks of the Week. This week, Tommy, we talk about it at the CrossFit Games, how the women's field is loaded. All right. The field we're dealing with here today, loaded. It is. This was tough.
Yeah. Oh,
we are going with our Podium Picks for board games.
It was like picking your starting five from the dream team. It's like,
I mean, you could easily do 3 separate podiums and make a good case for every one of them. I mean, I changed mine probably 4 times.
Oh, absolutely. And then there was, I'll be honest, another one popped in my head like 15 minutes ago. And I was like, oh gosh, that one's going to go on.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
last minute selections. You got to get on there. I don't know where we are in the order here. I'll start. Okay. I'll start. And we're going to start with Spirit of the Games and the Dark Horse. Okay, these are the 2 awards that we'd like to give who are just off the podium, but for whatever reasons, we feel like these games need to be recognized. So my Spirit of the Games, I'm going to go with Monopoly.
Okay.
Everybody loves Monopoly. Everybody has played Monopoly. Monopoly has many different versions. It has been around for, I don't know, like 100 years probably by this point. The only thing that kept it sort of off the podium for me is that it has the propensity to last forever. I don't mind long games, but forever. And I think people always make up rules. Like there's that free parking rule that people make up where you put $500 in the pot, or if you land on free parking, you get the money, and that always prolongs the game. Or that, any money you pay from community chest or something goes in there, not to the bank, and you can get that if you land on free parking. It's like, it's just one of those things that just keeps the game going forever and ever. Yeah. I've actually gotten in arguments about that rule. I think it's stupid.
Yep.
Don't do it. But some people do that, and of course, then you always have the guy who's the banker who messes up, who can't count, or you don't have like enough houses, like you've lost all the pieces or something. But it's a great game that everybody has played. So Monopoly has got to be on there in some way, shape, or form.
Capitalism, the board game,
more or less. Like it's your first. Yeah, I mean, it teaches you some pretty harsh lessons too about like cornering the market on some things and like driving up the price and bankrupting your opponents. It can get pretty ruthless
if you get Boardwalk and Park Place.
Oh man, you start building up hotels on that. Yeah. Like people, then you go. That's like that row of death. Where it's like it's the 3 green properties, and there's a railroad, and then I think there's like Park Place and. Yeah, you can go broke in like 2 rolls if you're built up to that point.
That's a murderer's row for sure. It's like facing
is.
The 20s Yankees way back in the day.
So,
it was,
yeah, it's man. But the worst is when someone has one and then the other, and then you're trying to deal with each other. It's like who's going to get it?
There's always that guy that just starts spending early. He's a little bit more free with his money, and just goes broke by the end, and just rage quits.
Yeah, yes, the rage quit happens quite a bit in Monopoly. That's the board gets flipped over and everything. Yep. In fact, I heard one good winning strategy for Monopoly is not to put hotels on your properties. It's to buy as many houses as possible and take the supply away, because you only have a limited amount of houses. So if you run the supply, if you don't, because anytime you put a hotel up, 3 houses go back in the pile. So if you keep your 3 houses, you on everything that you have, you actually prevent people from putting houses up. So there's a little tip.
I feel like that's like the Easter egg of like the actual purpose of the game.
There you go. No, exactly.
Actually get out Monopoly on houses.
There you do. Exactly. That's why it's called Monopoly. All right. So that's my Spirit of the Games. Now my Dark Horse. Now this is where I am going to stray from the mainstream here a little bit. I don't think this is that far off the mainstream, but my Dark Horse is Axis and Allies.
Ooh,
Axis and Allies, a World War II game where I believe you can have up to 5 players, because you can each play a power, and it's obviously the Axis powers versus the Allies powers. And I think it winds up being, if you have a full team or a full set, it's 3 on 2, because someone plays, like you have the US, England, and I think it's Russia is the third one. And then you have Japan and Germany. And it's a great game because like we would always play where you would have like 10 minutes alone with the board with your teammate, where you could kind of strategize.
Yeah.
And then the other team would come in and you would leave. And it's cool because it's obviously based on history, but then you can change history.
Yeah.
It does last a little bit longer. It does tend to be a little more complex. So definitely read the rules before you play. But I had some great times playing Axis and Allies. So that's my Dark Horse.
I'm still kind of messed up from that strategy.
Did I blow your mind with that strategy?
Oh, man.
People are going to try that now.
Yeah, report back. Let us know.
All right, give that a whirl.
That is Axis and Allies is a great game. I have not played it as much, but I've enjoyed it every single time I've played. So my Spirit of the Games is a very simple board game, only 4 players. It is called Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Classic.
Very classic board game from Parker Brothers. But I feel like just basically cornered the market in board games growing up.
Yeah. And for our friends north of the border, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry. Canadian hello. But there is no greater joy in life than getting to slap a sorry card on one of your family members, lean in front and center, and just yell, sorry.
Oh man, how many fights have started because of that
God.
game, right? You play that move and board goes over, and all of a sudden we're having fisticuffs.
Yeah. I'm very fortunate. My parents have a loving and long-lasting relationship, but the only time I think that has ever been in question is during my games of sorry.
I bet.
After multiple sorry cards have been played.
Oh, it's the same thing. Like not a board game, but a card game. The game of Uno. When you draw 4 on somebody. Woo, man.
That's like, oh man.
That's like bringing that slap from Nebraska. You know, you're just like, pow.
That one came from the back row. Yeah. I have so many fond memories of playing that game with my family. You know, it's one of the first board games that we played once my brother was born as a family of 4.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a simple concept. And it was just so fun because, you know, we're competitive and, you know, we would get annoying.
That's a good pick. I like that.
My dark horse is a game I've only played a handful of times, but it left a lasting impact on me. And it was one, my brother's a huge board game fan. And he introduced me to this one. It's called Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have not heard of this one. So you're going a little off the reservation too. Okay.
Exactly. This one it's got a little bit of storytelling, some coercion, some stuff. So it's players and I'll read this. This is straight from their description. Players all begin as allies exploring a haunted house filled with dangers, traps, items, and omens. As players journey to new parts of the mansion, room tiles are chosen at random and placed on the game board. This means that the game is different with each session. So there's something like thousands of different game variations and combinations each time. Eventually, the haunt begins with the nature and the plot of this session's ghost story revealed. One player is usually betrays the others and takes the side of the ghosts, monsters, or other enemies, while the remaining players collaborate to defeat them.
That's a good one. That'll ruin some friendships.
Oh man. And the thing is, everything is below board, right?
Yes.
So you're not always sure who is the bad person at the time sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you're collaborating with them and then you don't know who the bad. So when the hunt begins, that bad person is the betrayer is essentially set, but you don't know who it is for sure.
Okay.
And as players move through the board and things happen, you kind of start to get an idea. And the storytelling is really good, and the writing for the stories is really good. And the variation of there's so many different game variations and layouts that it's really, really fun. And even in instances when you're almost helpless, there's you never feel fully out of the game. So I was very much engaged, and it was easy to adjust to as a new player.
Cool.
So I didn't feel I was overwhelmed because of the collaborative effort. Okay. So it was, I had a blast with it. And it upended my previous pick for Dark Horse, which is craps.
Okay. Well, all right.
Which is technically a board game.
I will allow it. I'll allow it. Yeah.
You roll dice. You place chips on a board layout.
I saw Rory McCurden win $700 at a game of craps.
Yeah, and as much as I like to think when presented the opportunity, I'm not a degenerate gambler, but
we all know
I had to pull that one.
Okay, so what was the name of that game again?
Betrayal at House on the Hill.
A Betrayal at House on the Hill. Okay, so now we get into the podium picks. We'll go from third up to 1. Third place for me on the podium, chess.
Oh,
got to go with chess. I mean, it's been around for thousands of years, and it's, how many times is it just dropped in a normal conversation or descriptions of other sports? This is the game of chess between, this guy and this guy, or this head coach. It's a game of chess. And I mean, it is just the classic strategy game. And I've always been in awe of people who are really, really good at chess, like not grandmaster level, but people who are just really good at it, who know all the strategies and you can see everything coming. To me, that's you're smart. You can do that. I wish I possessed that. I learned to play chess at a very young age. Never learned any of the real super intricacies of it.
Yeah.
But it's a great game. It can be as simple or as complex as you like it, depending on who you're playing at what level.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a great intro to just basic strategy. I think the only thing that kept it from being any higher is that it's just it's not. Doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles.
Yeah, it's the not sexy pick, but
yes, but it does. It's always there. Everyone knows of it. You might not know how to play.
Yeah, it's
of chess.
It's the intellectuals game.
Exactly. So it's got to be that's on my podium. Third place for chess.
That's a good pick.
All right,
that got really popular at the office towards the back end of our tenure.
Yes, it did.
Everyone was playing chess.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually one of the things that I will say was nice. That every once in a while. It would be encouraged for us to like take on something like chess or that was cool. My third place, I affectionately call it trains amongst my friends. But it is called Ticket to Ride.
Yes, I have heard of this.
Yes.
I have a friend who is a big fan of this game.
It is a game that I play regularly with my friends in person when we could, but now since we can't, there's an app on your phone that allows you to play online with your buddies.
I think it's on Xbox as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It is a game all about train routes across North America, and you can buy boards for other places. But you're effectively each train route has like a color code to it.
Yeah.
You're collecting cards and routes. There's cities all over the place, and you basically have to collect the cards so you have enough cards to match the number of tiles and color to create that route. And you lay down trains to create paths, and you get 3 tickets to start the game. You get to pick however many you want, and you can discard, but you have to keep at least one. And then you have to place trains through that process from start point to end point, however you want. You can start in the middle and work out, or you can go the long way if you need to. And you get points for based on how many, like each segment. If there's like 6 trains to a segment, you get more points for that and stuff like that. And the longer routes, you get more points. And there's people like cutting people off, and you don't know what the other people are playing. And I just got to say, for the people that know, you haven't lived till you've ridden the Great White North train from Vancouver to Montreal.
It just hits differently
with a stopover in Sault Ste. Marie. I mean, it's just or you've made the smugglers run from Miami to Los Angeles.
Very nice. That's a good one too. Yeah.
But,
Ticket to Ride, huh? Third place. Wow, I can't wait to hear what your next 2 are.
Oh yeah.
All right, so now we're going top 2. All right, so my second place, Risk.
Oh, okay.
Risk is just one of my all-time favorite games, and again has many different versions. There are some rules that people play with to kind of make it last longer. Another game that can last forever. I get that, and I kind of knock Monopoly for it, but I found that Risk was a little more entertaining because you would eliminate players a little more quickly sometimes. I always found like a very effective strategy was getting Australia.
Oh my God, you're that guy.
Get Australia and you filter up because it's easy to defend. You just filter up your armies right into Asia. Europe, not easy to take.
No,
that was like the last place you wanted to get. Then you had like the South America, North America strategy kind of, but it was a blast. And just to
you're the Australian stalwart.
Oh man, that's you got to get Australia. Like that's, and then because there's a couple different ways to play where you either deal cards and that's where you start, or you actually like go around and you each pick what you put in your armies. And I'd always be like Australia going. But just to give you an idea of how big of a nerd I was in high school and still am, we had our senior breakfast. And it was a big gathering. I think it was like in a ballroom at the Holiday Inn or something. My friends and I brought Risk with us and played over breakfast. So we were that table.
What better way to start the day?
What better way to start the day than with some world conquest thanks to Risk?
See, my biggest thing is I get bloodthirsty in Risk.
It's hard.
I get a couple spots. I start to build up my army. And they used to call me Xerxes because I would like think I'm like the Persian army and would just like attack everywhere and start moving west and try to conquer Europe. And then I'd get spread out too thin, and then all the vultures would come and pick me
and then
up.
someone would cash in one of those like card sets and get like bonus 10 armies, and there you go, you're gone.
Then I'm wiped.
Yeah, you gotta pay attention. I'm a strategy guy, so I really I always enjoyed a good game of Risk.
Yeah, I'm like I'm bloodthirsty in that regard.
It can happen.
Yeah.
You start to see your color of the army. Like if you're the yellow army and you're just like a bunch of yellows on that board, and you have test, well, maybe if I just get one more, then you count up and divide by 3. And especially like if you have 20 territories and you want to get to 21 and increase your army,
you're like, I'm invincible.
Gotta go one more, man. Gotta take that risk. So risk is number 2 for me.
That's a great pick.
Yeah.
I'm sensing a strategy theme with you.
I'm going to go, but get ready for number 1.
Okay. So my number 2 is Settlers of Catan.
Of course it is. Now, I have a confession to make, Tommy. I have never played Settlers of Catan. Ever. I need to play this game.
It's the game of a generation.
Yes, it is. I've never played it, though.
So Settlers of Catan hits on multiple levels for me. One, because it is non-assuming. You look at it and you're like, what? I just build resources and build roads and stuff like that. It seems so simple. And its elegance is its simplicity, and I have everyone that I've introduced to this game to play has gotten into it, and it's gotten heated. And I think that's part of what makes it great is the competitive nature of it.
Yes.
And there's there's obviously a variety of different strategies, and you can buy expansion packs, and there's other game variations, whether it's Seafarers of Catan and stuff like that. But there's something primal about just trying to collect resources, build roads and houses. It's almost like a mixture of Ticket to Ride and building those roads, and Monopoly and building those houses to gain more resources and getting points. And I just love it. It's the game switches up from time to time because of how the numbers are placed. We have a house rule that when you win, you have to stand up tall, lording over everyone. And shout Catan, and like everyone basically has to bow to you at that point.
Oh man, I would hate that.
I just and then like they also know, like they're the makers of Catan are so like hilariously self-aware that I don't know if they still do this, but when you buy the game, in the box comes you would get a bumper sticker that says Settlers of Catan on it. So first, the audacity to assume that you're going to put this
on your automobile,
on your primary mode of transportation. But the taglines were great. There was 2 taglines, I think. One was trade, build, settle. And then the other one was the game of a generation. So just automatically shooting their shot.
There you go.
And like, you know what? Like what game creator was like, you know what? What if this becomes the game of a generation? Let's go for it.
I think it's accurate because everybody I know, like again, I haven't played it, but everybody I know who's like in their 30s loves that game.
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's a great game to. It's a great socialization game too. If you're like having a few drinks with some friends and like, and I've seen some relationships almost ruined over it because people start to get in cahoots with each other a little bit, and
all right, that's number 2. Okay, so now it's time for my number 1, top of the podium pick here. I'm going all the way back, Tommy, to 1981. All right, Milton Bradley releases a game called Dark Tower.
Oh,
and this is my all-time favorite board game ever. In fact, I'm so excited because someone started a Kickstarter to make a sequel, and I think it's coming out. It got funded, and I think it's coming out next year.
Whoa.
And it's a lot more complex. So the coolest thing about it was that the TV commercial had Orson Welles. Orson Welles was in the TV commercial. And if you're not familiar with this game, what it was a round circular board.
I just looked it up.
Yeah, it was a round circular board. Now, in the middle was this black tower. It was like, I don't know, a foot high, 2.5 foot high. And it was electronic. Now, for 81, this was like high-tech stuff.
Yeah.
Your goal was you had 4 different territories on the circular board. Now, your goal was you had to maneuver around the board. You had to collect resources and fight monsters and buy stuff to build up your army to storm the Dark Tower. Now, every now and then, like a dragon would come get you and take away all your stuff. And the tower would tell you like what you had left, like how many men you got killed. And you had this cardboard, you had this card with the red pegs that you used to have in Battleship that you took, you kept track of all your gold. You kept track of like how many soldiers you had. You kept track of how many keys. Like you had to find 3 keys, a gold, a silver, and a bronze key to get in to the Dark Tower. And then you had to put them in the right combination. And this thing had like it was like an LCD display with like a rotating slideshow thing that would rotate around the board. And it would light up and it would show you a picture of something. And you could buy like a beast. You could hold extra gold. You could find Pegasus, which meant you could go to anywhere on the board. You could only use it once. And I have so many great memories as a kid sitting at this. My parents had this old like antique wooden table, sitting in this table with my brother and my dad and maybe one of our friends or two of our friends. And we would just, spin in that tower and playing and keeping track of our thing and hearing the sound effects. And you could haggle at the bazaar. Like you would get to the bazaar and you'd be like, oh, Warriors are 10. I'm going to haggle. And you drop it to 9. You're like, I'm going to do it one more. And then the thing would spin. You're like, oh, and it would go bazaar closed. You're like, oh, man. And you have to wait a whole other turn before you could go back. So I'm so excited that someone's actually making a sequel to it. I looked it up on YouTube and I guess it's coming out next year. I'll probably buy it. In fact, I've looked it up on eBay and I think you can buy used games for like $400. And believe me, there are times where I'm like, don't need to pay the bills this month. We'll just get a board game. But yeah, Dark Tower for me is it's got to be number one. So
dude, that sounds awesome. First off, the inclusion of like electronics into it. Like I'm looking it up on it's like incredibly rare. And it went out of print shortly after because of a lawsuit.
I didn't know this.
So it went out of print after release due to a lawsuit brought against Milton Bradley for intellectual property theft. The inventor sued.
I didn't know this.
2 independent game developers named Robert Burton and Alan Coleman submitted a game to Milton Bradley titled Triumph that involved an electronic tower as the centerpiece. Milton Bradley rejected the game but proceeded to release Dark Tower sometime later. Yeah.
Well then.
Yeah, several web-based, and there's a sequel. Yeah.
The sequel looks pretty involved too, much more involved than this one was. But it was just so, again, for a nerd child of the '80s, this was just an awesome game.
That looks fantastic, and I'm sad that I never got to play it because it went out of print. I love that. I love that. Like Dragon just comes and takes your stuff.
Yeah, you'll move. So what you would do is you would move and you would hit the tower, move, and then it would tell you something that would happen to you. Like maybe it was nothing. But yeah, if that thing spun, you're like, oh no, it's the dragon. And it had like the sound effects like, and the dragon picture would show up and it was like, all right, now you're down to this many warriors and this many gold. And like, oh man, I just got pillaged by the dragon.
The dragon named income tax.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. What's number one?
All right. My number one, man, that was a good one. My number one is a game that I have fond memories of playing as a teen in my formative years, and it is Pictionary.
Pictionary,
yeah.
Wow. Okay, I did not expect that.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a left turn. So I'm not really sure why, but so I have a close group of friends from high school that we remain, like best friends to this day, and we still see each other quite often. But there's those like kind of gap years where you're old enough to like want to be social, but you're not old enough to like be like drive a car or be able to go out on your own a ton. And you can't really drink yet. But you're like having sleepovers and stuff like that. And we would go and we would do a variety of games. We later on we got into poker once we could drive, just playing Texas Hold'em because it got hot then. But Pictionary was a game that stuck with us because of the hilarity that ensued. And I think Pictionary really highlights the difference in people's thought process, their creativity, and their ability to handle pressure, and like the translation of like mind to paper, and
how to communicate complex ideas in a simple form.
Yes. And we would play, it's teams, and we'd always pair up like, so what we say, one of my buddy Danny, is in some ways he's the worst Pictionary partner of all time, and in some ways he's the best.
Probably because he's funny.
He's funny, and he thinks,
but not because he means to be.
He thinks outside of the box in ways that like almost don't make sense sometimes, and everything refers back to sports.
Okay,
so I was his partner one time, and the word was driving.
Driving. Let me guess. You went with a golfer.
No.
I don't know that.
Even more obscure.
Okay. What do you go with?
What would you draw?
Oh, like a carriage, maybe?
What would you draw?
I mean, a car, probably.
Yeah, exactly. He drove a basketball player with a ball driving to the hole.
Okay. Makes no sense.
But how are you going to convey that in like the little hourglass?
I have no idea.
The next one was the word saber.
Let me guess, you drew some from Buffalo.
He tried to draw the Buffalo Sabres logo.
Well, good luck with that.
First off, he's grossly overestimated his ability to draw the head of a buffalo. And second,
yeah, because back then it was like they were red and black, not what they've recently gone back to their old logo, but that one was tough.
Next, somehow get me to say saber as a result of it. Like, it was. But those are the kind of things that like it highlighted all of our character traits in like the funniest way. And it's like even when we come back from college and we'd all go over to like meet up to like drink and play cards and hang out, and we would play a game of Pictionary. And our friends' parents would come play. My friend's mom, Barb, is an amazing artist. Just came out and was just dropping dimes left and right. I was her partner once. She drew, the word was oxygen mask. I mean, she drew, I'm pretty sure that thing would have been approved by OSHA, the oxygen mask she drew. It was unreal.
That's great when you have a partner like that.
Oh, and so we also will play other game variants where it's Pictionary charades.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
So, but that was just like, we had a blast, and it's always fun to go back and like take the, we'll like hide the paper that you draw on and leave it there for a while and come back and look and be like, oh my God,
what was I thinking?
I'm an idiot.
Yeah. I did that once. I remember it was I had to draw Amazon River, and I'm an idiot. Like at the time, I think I was in high school. I didn't know jack about, my geography was terrible. So I drew like Africa and I'm like drawing the river. My buddy's like, the Nile. I'm like, he's like, the Euphrates, the Tigris. I don't know. And I'm like, no. And he's like, I was like, it's the Amazon. I was like, you idiot, the Amazon, it's in South America. And I went, oh,
and that's,
I guess I better look that up then.
And that's the beauty of the game.
I felt like such a moron.
It's like, it's like being stressed and upset in a foreign country where you don't speak the language.
Exactly.
And you just can't.
You just keep pointing at it. It's like, look, man, you can slow it down and shout at me. I still don't know what you're saying, right?
Man. And
that's a good pick.
And one of my favorite all-time moments, any games, is the blind guess of the century.
Oh, okay. I want to hear this one.
That my buddy Craig's my best friend since we were 13. Is he would always like throw out like words like jokingly, and one time he just goes Muhammad Ali, like at the start
before you had drawn anything,
and my buddy just goes, "You got it," and we're like, "Oh my God,
are you kidding?"
Yeah.
Wow, you got to retire after that. No more Pictionary. I'm done. Quitting on top.
That card came up again, and I think he couldn't get it. It was hilarious.
It's like, you guessed it before I haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
Oh man, there were a couple for me that like Scrabble almost made it.
Yeah.
Clue almost made it. That's a good one. I'm trying to think what Chutes and Ladders, just because it's one that everyone played. Candyland, everyone played Candyland growing up, but yeah, it was tough. I changed my list like 4 times.
Mousetrap.
That's a good. I never had that. I never had Mousetrap.
I never had that one either. But that was like the board game equivalent of getting a Power Wheels. You got Mousetrap. Like, ooh, mom and dad must be doing well for themselves. I wish I had one of them.
I know. I think the excuse at our house is like, oh, you'll lose all the pieces.
Yeah,
you're probably right.
It's true.
All right, well, that was some good ones, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear what people have to say, because like I said, I know there's some that we forgot and that I'm going to read, and I'm like, oh, that's such a good one.
There's a lot of
So podium picks for board games, everybody.
Yep.
Just to sum up, so I'll just give you the summary of my picks. Spirit of the Games goes to Monopoly. The Dark Horses, Axes and Allies. Chess comes in third place with a bronze medal. Risk gets second, and then Dark Tower, the original version from 1981. Goes home with the gold. Tommy, your picks were?
My Spirit of the Games was Sorry. Dark Horse was Betrayal at House on the Hill. Third place was Ticket to Ride. Second place, Settlers of Catan. And first place, Pictionary. Learning. It's always fun to learn that your friends can't draw for crap.
All right. Well, hey, let us know what your podium picks are. Can't wait to read those. We'll be back next week with another edition of Podium Picks, but we'll go back into the CrossFit realm. But we like kind of alternating these up and providing you guys with just some mindless entertainment, for about 30 minutes. So thanks so much for joining us, everybody. That's this week edition of Podium Picks. For Tommy Marquez.